Okay, today I'm in Maidstone in Kent with professional dog punter Jordan Vine, who is 25 years old. Right, the first question, Jordan, you're a professional dog punter. How did you get so shrewd so young?
I was very lucky that I sort of surrounded myself with good people at a young age, and I met the right people at a very early age. And some would say I'd listened, and others would say I didn't, but I listened to the right people at a very young age, and they sort of took me under their wing. And it was hard, and it's not all been sunshine and rainbows, and I finally sort of cracked it over the last 2 or 3 years. But at a young age, I was very lucky to meet the right people.
As you say, you met the right people. So did you have a sort of one person that was like your mentor that showed you the ropes and sort of taught you what to do?
Yeah, there was many, but one figure sticks out massively for me. He's like a second dad to me, really. I owe it all to him. How I've got to where I got to. He's a fellow called Gary Noble. He's pretty well known in the game. He sort of took a shine to me. He doesn't still know why he's took a shine to me nowadays, but I was very lucky to meet Gary, and he's been fantastic to me. He's helped me through good times, bad times, and he's someone that I really admire and look up to a lot, and can always learn off all the time still, even now. And there has been a few other people, but Gary's the main standout, really.
So what's your history in the game? What's your family background in gambling?
Well, I got into it through my dad's side of the family. My dad and uncle used to be involved as owners. My uncle used to train for a little bit. There was bookmakers, and I was sort of born into it, really. I could never shake it. I used to go when I was very young, and we got photos and videos of me when I was a baby sitting on dogs on the trophy presentation and stuff like that. And then sort of my dad come out the game a little bit when me and my brothers was born, because my mum and dad have got 3 sons. And I sort of got back into it. I was playing golf with my uncle one day, and he was a bookmaker over Sitting Bull, and I was about 16, and he said, we rushed for time, like, can you come over with me? So I said, yeah, not a problem. So I went over with him and just said, I can come and do a little bit of work for you. I used to do the clerking for him and the floor sometimes, and fell in love with it then, and used to knock out all my money over there. Obviously not betting before I was 16, Simon, but used to knock out all my money over there, and I met a few people over there that I got involved with that taught me. One of them was Richard Vernon. He was probably my first shrewd meeting person that I met over the dogs. He was working for Ladbrokes at the time, and it sort of learnt a bit from him at an early age. And Concord, if you've ever been to Sitting Bull, you definitely know who Concord is. You can't miss him or you can't hear him. He's everywhere, and just started from that, really. But my dad and my uncle actually bets the dogs for a living now as well at Central Park, where I bet, and my they're both involved as owners as well now.
So what's your winning angle?
I think it's a lot of hard work and dedication. A lot of people don't realise the work and the hours and how spot on you have to be mentally to do a card. I mean, some mornings I wake up and I know that I'm not feeling 100%, where I just can't concentrate or I don't want to work today. Whereas when you try and force the issue, sometimes it sort of goes wrong. But I would say my angle is just watching loads of videos and just trying to think outside the box. I think a lot of punters' problem probably is that they just look at the obvious and they go with the obvious, and the obvious is usually priced correctly and everyone knows the obvious. But my edge is trying to find new dogs or differently drawn dogs or read run-ups and just things that I don't think your average punter would look into. But that would be my edge, really.
So how many hours work goes into your job before the actual sticking arm?
Depends what mood I'm in, really. Sometimes I can literally wing it, go race by race, or other days I can be very prepared. A few people would say I wing it quite a lot of the time, but it depends really. I would say, for instance, this morning, which you've seen, Simon, which I wish I did wing it and go race by race. I was up last night until about 2 o'clock, I think. Maybe started about 11:30. Done 2.5 hours. Done the sort of back end of the work for today, and then I've done probably an hour this morning before racing. Then worked out my bets and looked at the prices. So sometimes it can be a very horrible game that you've worked so much, and you focus so much, and you think you're on the right selections, and you don't get any reward like you were seeing this morning as you got here a bit early.
Is there ever a point where there's no bet? You know, you make something a 5-2 shot, almost up 6-4. You're convinced it'll win, but you think, nah, we'll leave it.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely think is come into my armoury over the last few years. I mean, before, if I fancied something strong, I would just stick on it. And I think it's made me evolved as a punter and made me do this professionally, whereas before I could not see past my own opinion really. But yeah, there's races now where I can just swerve because they're just too short, and likewise, if I don't even fancy a dog, I mean, there was a selection this morning I spoke to one of my friends about earlier that I didn't perhaps fancy so much, but the price just went ridiculous, so I had to have something on and take a chance at them prices. And it's just a game of odds versus chance really. There's nothing much else to it.
And would you ever fear the worst if something was drifting alarmingly and maybe back off?
No, I think I've been taught by Gary mainly. It's just you just got to keep going. That's where you get your juice out of selections. If you're certain and you fancy it strong, you've done the work, and you generally believe you've had the right bet and the right selection, then you just got to keep going.
So when you're picking your dogs, is technology used? Can you tell us anything about the how you sort of do it?
Yeah, there is sort of technology that we use, and just watch a lot of race replays and stuff like that just to try and make it a lot easier, because I mean I do quite a lot of work, I feel, as well as I have quite a busy life outside of the game as well. I mean, I work most mornings, most afternoons, Monday to Friday, and if you had to keep putting video in DVD player, it'd just be impossible. I don't think I'd do it. I think I'd just get a job at Tesco's or something. Just take it easy.
So is it right to say that what you use isn't available to the general public?
No.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
That's fine. So, moving swiftly on, what's the biggest problem a punter in your position has?
I think the world could answer that one. It's getting my bets on. You've witnessed it this morning, Simon. I've got a few lads that work for me in the betting shops in the mornings, and just getting on is literally getting impossible now. It's something that I've sort of retracted away from. I don't try and moan about it because you end up just moaning all day about it. You just got to get over it, overcome it and adapt. And it's something I just mainly play Betfair now. It is hard, obviously, to try and get bets on, but it's something that you're forever going to face. It's always going to be an issue in the game, so you shouldn't really moan about it. You just got to try and overcome it.
Now, this is a question from Ben. We've only met today for the first time, but Ben tells me you're very self-confident and have a bit of an ego. Now, is that a help or a hindrance to a pro punter?
I would say ego's a bit strong. Some would not agree, but I think it's just because I am confident, I'm an extrovert personality, and it's something that I have had to adapt around the game, and especially for work, because it is an issue for a punter. If you're up here and then down there, you've got to be level-headed all the time because you miss things, you make wrong decisions, and you have to be in control of your emotions. So I feel like it's something, as I've grown older and got more mature, I do believe overcome it when I'm working. Whereas before I would just do silly things really, like I just wanted to give it the big un have massive bets in the ring, and there'd be sometimes before when I was a lot younger that a dog might be 3-1 on Betfair and 5-2 in the ring, but I'd want to have my lump on in the ring just to scream it home. And now I try and retract having bets at dog tracks, and if I do, very quietly. I rarely cheer now unless it's my own dog. Just try and be a little bit more restrained from being so. To Ben's question, yes, it's something that when I see Ben, he often tells me about. But I don't think it's a bad thing as long as you're level-headed when you're working. It's just some people are different to others, obviously.
Now, you were telling me before we did the interview that you got a quite reputation quite quickly. Would that have been the reason why?
I think it was. I think for me it was more I wanted to be known as a good punter. I wanted to be feared. I wanted to have a reputation, and it's something that a few people say, that'll backfire on you, and I do think it has backfired on me now for getting prices, especially dogs I own, especially getting bets on, and it's something that all the shrewd people I know now want to go under the radar, and it's something that I do try and do now. But when I got into it very young, and I was reasonably good at it very young, so when I was getting sort of good money on a Friday night in cash, and you're this young lad, you don't really know what to do with it but give it the big one. But it's something that I've definitely tried to retract and get away from now.
So how many days a week are you active betting?
I would do Monday, Tuesdays I do Monday morning, afternoon, evening, not more so evening. Tuesday morning, maybe in the evening. Wednesday morning. Thursday's the onslog of all days. 10 till 10 really Thursday, and it's somewhere I go with where I can sit in with my mates and we focus, and Thursday's a big day for us. And then Friday nights I always go racing. Like, I still love the game enough to go every week, and I usually go to Central Park or Romford, and then I don't do anything the weekend. Try and spend time with my mates and my family and get away from dog racing over the weekend. But now Central Park, I've been running Sundays. I've been slipping over there on a Sunday night with a couple of my pals.
So have you got mates that are also successful punters that you get your heads together, or?
Yeah, there's. I think I've always done well with getting in with the right people, and I think it's if you surround yourself with successful people, then therefore you got more chance of being successful yourself. I mean, there's a little clique with Gary who taught me. There's a group of us that we're very good friends, we're close, and we sort of not work together, but sometimes we discuss cards, and it's good to bash your heads together with some other people. But I've had a lot of people over the years that I really respect as judges that have helped me over the games. I mean, I've got a good friend in Wales, and Neil Price. He's a fantastic judge, and he's someone that's helped me when I've been down and always talked sense to me. And he's a fella up north that's helped me out over the times. I mean, Mark Keatley helped me out. Martin Green, he's a fantastic judge. I speak to Martin most days, and I mean, there's loads that I think I can. I think the art of being a good punter or good at anything is taking the good out of everyone. Even if someone's that I don't reckon's a very good punter or not a fantastic judge, you can learn off everyone, and that's something that I felt over the last few years that I've allowed myself to do. Whereas before I would only listen to people that I thought was better than me. Then now I listen to everyone because you can learn every day off everyone. So I think that's a key point.